charges of its existence prior to mid-19. A de novo cult suggests the arrival of a particular leader. Indeed, and it's him you'll need to eliminate. Either that or do enough damage to his forces. Hastings flung a hand at the documents the other four were reading. The rabble he uses to murder, rape, and pillage, to make him scurry back under whatever rock he slithered out from. Murder, rape, and pillage hardly does the Black Cobra justice. Major Gareth Hamilton, one of the four officers who served under Dell, glanced up, his brown gaze pinning Hastings. This reads more like deliberate terrorization of villages, which suggests an attempt to subjugate. For a cult, that's ambitious, an attempt to seize power beyond the usual bleeding of money and goods. Establishing a yoke of fear. Captain Rafe Carstairs, seated 3 seats along from Dell, joined Gareth in tossing the report he'd read back on the desk. Rafe's aristocratic features showed evidence of distaste, even disgust, which told Dell that the contents of the report Rafe had read were truly dreadful. All 5 of them, seated before Hastings' desk, had seen human carnage unimaginable to most. As a group, they'd served through the Peninsular Campaign in the cavalry under Paget, then been in the thick of the action at Waterloo, and had subsequently taken commissions with the Honourable East India Company to serve under Hastings as an elite group of officers deployed specifically to deal with the worst uprisings and instabilities the subcontinent had thrown up over the past 7 years. Seated between Gareth and Rafe, Major Logan Monteith's lip curled as, with a flick of his tanned wrist, he sent the report he'd read, skating to join the others on the desk. This Black Cobra makes Carly and her thuggies look civilized. Beyond Rafe, the last and youngest of their 5, Captain James McFarlane, still faintly baby-faced even though he was 29, leaned forward and carefully laid the document he'd perused with the others. Has Bombay no clue as to who's behind this? No trail, no associates, no area in which the Cobra has its headquarters? After more than 5 months of active searching, Bombay has precisely nothing beyond a suspicion that some of the Maratha princelings have been drawn into clandestinely supporting the cult. Rafe snorted. Any fool could have predicted that. Ever since we slapped them down in 18, they've been spoiling for a fight. Any fight. They're not particular. Exactly. Hastings' tone was acid, biting. As you know, Ainsworth is now governor in Bombay. He's performing well in all other respects, but he's all diplomat, no military man, and he freely admits that when it comes to the Black Cobra, he's in over his head. Hastings' gaze raked them, coming to rest on Dell. Which is where you gentlemen come in. I take it, Dell said, that Ainsworth isn't going to get his nose out of joint when we ride into his patch. On the contrary, he'll welcome you with open arms. He's at his wits' end trying to reassure the merchants while simultaneously balancing the books for London. Not easy when every 5th convoy is plundered. Hastings paused, and for a moment the strain of managing the far-flung empire India had become showed in his face. Then his jaw firmed, and he met their gazes. I can't overstate the importance of this mission. The Black Cobra has to be stopped. Its depredations and the atrocities committed in its name have reached a level that threatens not just the company, but England herself, not just in terms of trade, but in stature, and you've all been here long enough to know how vital the latter is to our nation's continuing interests. And lastly, with his head he indicated the reports on his desk, it's India and the people in those villages who need the Cobra removed. No argument there. Rafe came out of his characteristic lounge and rose to his feet, as Dell and the others did. Hastings let his gaze travel over them as they ranged shoulder to shoulder before his desk, a solid wall of red in their uniforms. They were all over 6 feet tall, ex-guardsmen all, hardened by long years of battle and command. Experience etched their features, even McFarlane's. Worldly knowledge coloured their eyes. Satisfied with what he saw, Hastings nodded. Your mission, gentlemen, is to identify and capture the Black Cobra